Welcome to the Tea Mind. I'm Erica, and this is your weekly pause to put the kettle on, slow down, and reconnect with what really matters. Welcome back to the Tea Mind. I'm so glad you've joined me this week. This space exists to help you pause, reconnect to yourself, and make space for what really matters, using something as humble and beautiful as a cup of tea. And today we're going to explore something that's quietly life changing this time of year: why your sacred space needs more fire. Because when the world goes cold and quiet, so do we, and sometimes we forget how to relight our inner spark. So let's talk about winter, not just the season, but what it does to our inner landscape. And in five element theory from traditional Chinese medicine, winter is governed by the water element. And water is deep, reflective, restorative. It can be so many things, but when it builds up to too much or stays too still, it can become quite heavy and dark, emotional, unmotivated, and even fearful. Perhaps that sounds familiar. And here are some signs that your water element might be out of balance at the moment. No matter how much you sleep, you wake up still feeling exhausted. Maybe you've lost interest in things that normally bring you joy. You might be paralyzed by indecision or find yourself withdrawing from people, even though you're craving connection, really. You might feel flat, foggy, or a little bit emotionally numb, or perhaps your inner voice is quiet or your gut instincts are muffled. And even physically, perhaps you feel cold and slow and hard to warm up. So these things are all potential signs that your water element might be out of balance, and just maybe missing some of the fire element to give us a little spark back. So this really matters now because in our culture, winter is sold as a time for stillness and self-care. Lots of bubble baths, rest, and silence. And that is really beautiful, but it's not the full picture because stillness without warmth becomes stagnation, and reflection without action becomes rumination, and quiet without connection becomes loneliness. So winter isn't just about hibernation, it's about gathering energy at the roots so that new growth can come in spring. This is all about balance, which is what the T mind system and the Chinese five elements is all about. But to do that, we need to stay alive inside, and that's where the fire element comes in. And in five element theory, fire governs emotions like joy, things like warmth and circulation, passion, connection, expression, heat energy, and it's what lets you feel alive again. Fire can melt fear, it can wake up the spirit, and it reminds water that it's not alone in the dark. And you don't need to burn out to light the flame. You just need to light the right kind of fire. Last weekend, I moved a few things around in my living room. A chair, a side table, a lovely warm lamp, cozy blankets, candles, and that's it. And I created an amazing reset space, and it didn't take long. But in 4 days, I've sat in that seat more than I have in a whole year because my body recognizes the space. It's a space where my mind knows it can relax and my nervous system can soften. And even now, even 5 minutes sitting in that chair with a cup of tea can change everything for me. And this idea of having a safe space or a recognizable space is really, really key. And it really comes into tea practice quite a lot. And even when I travel, I bring a small mat, just a little runner, and I lay it down wherever I am. And it's like a signal that I'm safe, I'm home, and I can breathe and relax. And that's the fire element. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it's just warmth to wake me up from the inside. So there's lots of ways that you can bring fire into your daily tea space to gently balance the heaviness of the water element. The first step is to drink some black tea intentionally, because not all teas are created equal energetically. Black tea is related to the fire element, so it's bold, it's yang, warming, it's activating, and it's something really good to sort of get that spark back this season. And one of my favorites at the moment is Earl of Winter. It's an amazing black tea with citrusy bergamot, but it's the creamy vanilla and just a hint of lavender that really just it brings it to life. And yeah, it's very, very Moorish, especially with a little steamed milk and a little squeeze of honey as well at night. So it's a real sensory experience. The citrus awakens your senses, the vanilla helps to soothe your nervous system, and that lavender, it just reminds me, I associate it with a calmness. And it feels like sitting by a fire with a blanket wrapped around you. But it's really important that it's all a balance. So not to overdo black tea. We're not trying to overdo winter. We're adding contrast, not chaos. So use black teas when you feel stuck, when you feel a little bit low or disconnected, and let it gently guide you back to a little bit of spark rather than just chasing caffeine all the time. The second step to introduce more fire into your life this season is to wear some fire colours. And in five element theory, color is a vibration. So whether it's red, orange, deep fuchsia, even gold, when you wear these fire colors, you're literally telling your energy field, let's wake up. I've just realized I'm wearing black, which is typical water element. So yeah, I think I need to listen to this and I'll go and put on a red scarf or something afterwards to get that spark back. So yeah, try it, whether it's a lipstick, a scarf, red socks, a bright journal, or a red tea mug, or flicker of orange nail polish. I have got that right. Yeah, just every tiny visual cue is fire medicine. And the third tip is to light some actual fire. So a little candle, fairy lights, a little salt lamp, even a fireplace if you're lucky enough to have one. But don't just light it, honor it. Notice the flame and watch it dance, and say to yourself quietly, there is still warmth here, in this room and in me. And this simple act can act as a little anchor for you. Another option to bring more fire into your life is to eat fire enhancing foods. Things that are cooked, warmed, a little bit spiced. So, like slow cooked stews, ginger, cinnamon, garlic, some roasted root vegetables, warming things like soups over smoothies, because you're feeding more than your body, you're feeding your chi, your life force. And this is energetic nourishment, the kind that reaches deep inside to your bones. And the next one is to connect with people who light you up because fire is all about relationships. It lives in laughter, it lives in eye contact and in shared meals. Water, on the other hand, pulls you inwards, which can be beautiful, but left for too long, can become loneliness. So ask yourself, when was the last time you laughed from your belly? Who brings you warmth just by being yourself? And who could you call just for 5 minutes today? And then text someone or meet a friend for a cup of tea or send a voice note instead of a like. And this is how a fire spreads from person to person. And then finally, move with heat. So you don't need to run a marathon. You just need to spark some circulation, get moving. So it might be dancing in your kitchen to your favorite song, or going for a 5 minute power walk, or doing a few rounds of sun salutations, or qigong with a fire focus. So just anything to get your blood flowing again and to wake up your chi. So this week, the tea routine that I suggest that I'm going to practice this week is using the Earl of Winter. So any black tea that you like. And before you boil the kettle, just lay down a little mat or a little tray, just anywhere, whether it's at your desk or a little cozy space that you've got somewhere just for you. And light a candle and choose some music that evokes warmth or just sparks some childhood joy in you. And as the kettle gently boils, just place your hand over your heart and breathe in for 5 and hold it for 5. And then breathing out for 7. And as you do that, just visualize a tiny little flame beside your ribs and let it grow and spread. And as your tea seeps, just watch that steam, breathing in the scent. Let the lavender or whatever notes are in your tea soften you. Let it uplift you and ask yourself, what do I need to feel alive today? What do I need to feel alive today? Even if it's just something as simple as having a little nap. Then gently stretch your arms up and imagine your spine glowing from tailbone to crown. And that's it. That's your reset, your little tea routine this week. That's your inner flame. So think about what's one thing that you could add to your tea space this week to invite warmth back in. Maybe it's a candle or a bold red mug or a sip of some fire-infused tea, like a black tea. Don't overthink it and don't wait for the perfect room or the perfect moment. Just lay down the mat or pick your mug, light the tea flame, and that's it. And remember, you're not trying to cancel winter, you're trying to learn how to coexist with it. So let that water element pull you inwards, but let fire remind you that you are still alive. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you've found something useful in it. And do remember, we've got lots more tea routines and tea meditations on Substack at The Tea Mind, and lots more teas and tea recipes at etiquette.co.uk. Take a look in the show notes for more links. Thank you. That's it for today. I hope something landed. I hope something lifted. And if it did, share it with someone who needs a pause too. If you enjoyed this, you'll love the Tea Mind Substack, where the kettle's always on and we can connect more deeply. Until next time, stay present, sip slowly, and thanks for listening.